Okay.
Welcome to PCA Community Access Board of Directors meeting, Tuesday, March 15th, 2016. Can we have the secretary call roll?
Yes. Cindy Thomas, Kathy Rivas,
Present.
Neil Fishman,
Here?
Mark Jaramillo,
Check.
Tim Williamson,
Here.
John's here,
Here.
I'm here,
And
Big
it is,
Angel here, except Cindy.
6:10.
Yes, thank you.
Seeing no public comment, we'll continue on from there. Do any of the directors have comments or announcements that they'd like to make?
Well, yeah. I don't know if this is my last meeting, but I have to leave the board. So it's either my last or next to last, just because I'm tied up with two other major boards. I'm the president now of Sonoma County Conservation Action, and I'm gonna be the chair of the Sonoma Land Trust next year. And I'm just getting too tied up, and I'm also starting to do some consulting work, and I just can't do it anymore. So it's been great, and I thank you for it, and everybody support PCA, and I'm here for all the events and fundraisers and all of that. So anyway, just wanted to make that announcement.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, although I did know that you mentioned that
Yeah.
the last meeting.
can you send a
I-
little email to that effect?
I will send an email.
I gotta make the same announcement. Then this is my last
You're
meeting.
announcing that Neil's leaving too?
No, I'm announcing that I'm leaving. I'm leaving in April to go to Idaho, and I don't know for sure when I'll be back. So I don't think it's fair for the board to have to put up with, me not here to do my job. I'm gonna send you a list, John, of people I could
Well, that's
replace
the-
me. But I think I'll send you a resignation letter.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I have to do it.
We're sorry too.
Yeah, I'm sorry you have to go to Idaho. I'm crushed.
Yeah, well,
It's
Idaho's
family.
okay. It's not gonna be a fun trip, though, so.
Well, thank you for all you've done so far to this point.
I've had fun, but I just can't be reliable, so I feel bad about it, so.
Well, with regret, we accept both of your resignations.
I'm not dropping out.
Yay.
That's good.
Now that he's got all the power.
And as far as I know, you're stuck with me.
Well, that's good. Can I have somebody make a motion to accept
It's
or
not on
approve the agenda?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll do that.
I'll second.
Okay.
And
It's approved,
it's approved.
okay.
Number 5, we're approving the minutes of the February 16, 2016 Board of Directors meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look at those?
I move we approve.
I'll second that.
So, do we have a vote on that? All those
Aye.
in favor say aye.
Right?
Aye.
Okay, approved. Number 6 is the treasurer's report.
So-
Report of February 2016 financial statement.
Yeah, just briefly, everything looks, we are actually brought in more money than budget and spent less money than budget last month. So we are on track and everything looks fine. Unless, John, do you have more
No,
detail on that?
No, that is the fluctuations,
Yeah.
when you pay all the insurance at one part, you
Right.
go thunder, and then it comes back up again. But yes, it's been good, and we did have, a little, snag with City Hall. They overlooked sending us the AT&T check. And then it took me a while to find out who to talk to. Tim was very helpful, and we got the check today. So our AT&T, peg fees for October, November, December came in, and actually were higher than the previous quarter. Previous quarter was 13,378, and this quarter was, the quarter we just got paid for was 13,718.
That's a good sign.
So that's a good sign, although we have, some concerns about AT&T. There's rumblings in the industry that they're gonna withdraw from delivering TV by internet. So if you calculate 4 quarters at 13,000, that's 52,000 that we might not have in our budget.
Unless they move to Comcast.
If those subscribers move to Comcast. If they go to Dish, we're out of luck, and if the technology changes and they get it from the light bulb, it's a different kit ball game. But that's
They get it from the light bulb, PG&E will have to have a different franchise,
okay. That's interesting.
cause they use it right away.
Okay,
Okay,
that's our financial report.
do we need to move to accept that report?
No.
Okay. Then John, Executive Director's report.
Well, let's see, we've got the envelope, please, but that's on the agenda, so I won't go into the details, except that I was really thrilled. It was a very exciting, night. Sorry we missed you, Mark and Tim. The week prior was, horrendous. I had the programs printed 3 times. And actually, I had trouble with the printers too, and I didn't get it right till the last time, so I guess there was a purpose there. There was some,
It was a lot of fun.
yeah.
It was
You know,
fun.
and I think everybody who went had a lot of fun.
I've had a lot of compliments, and we're running into people who regret missing it after they've heard about it. We got, well, we'll get into the details, cause we had a meeting last night that we can report on to those of you who weren't there, and it's on the agenda. We did have when was it, Tim? It was like last week we got hacked. Our website was taken over by a unidentified flying weirdo,
A hacker.
a hacker.
It was actually technically it was defaced.
Yeah. So our website was overtaken by some, I did a little research on the name he used, Algerian terrorist. It's hard to tell, but he put up a wrapper and laughed at us, and Thomas found it when he went on to check the schedule.
Is that because of WordPress, basically?
Well, Tim might know more than
It's WordPress?
Or is it the hosting server?
With the camera on?
Pardon? The camera's
No,
right.
they prefer to discuss security in front of it.
Yeah, well, so the security we'll deal with offline, but we were super blessed. I'd like to nominate Stephanie for eternal heroic status, because she jumped in on a day off on Wednesday. She was in Santa Rosa. She was here within hours. She worked like almost 24 hours, and within 24 hours she had solved the problem.
How did she do it? She found the
She-
guy, or she was able to knock it out? That's strange.
She went in and she corrected she tracked down the errors. She found what she needed to do to get our page back up. She was concerned about how deep the penetration went, so she shut down all the computers and went through virus searches twice, because she went through a virus search and then got a new virus searcher and put it in, and then went through again.
But that wasn't part of the website hack.
No, but it was part of her response to that penetration. The website hack, we didn't know if it went into our personal computers or into our emails. And just to say that Stephanie put us all back in shape, and it gave us a very clear warning to upgrade the whole security issue. And Tim has been consulting with Stephanie on that, and we've accomplished a lot. It's like being violated. It was a strange couple of days. Let's see, community outreach, you may recall that months ago I talked about hooking up with the Emergency Operations Center, and we were gonna do a Meet Your EOC. We had a sterling volunteer member, Shadi, probably all met her, Shadi. She helped out with one of our meals, our fundraising events, or not chamber mixer, I believe. She got together with Jeff from the fire department, and they put together she made a really neat little video. He's thrilled with it. It's on the air. on the YouTube.
Great.
So that was a great success. The YouTube is available. If you go to our website and you find the YouTube channel, click on that and go to the YouTube channel. It should be in the most recently posted, but you can always go to videos and it'll be up the top. It's the EOC special. It's also airing on channel 27 at 5 a.m., 1 p.m., and 9 p.m. on Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. And we're working on the LumaCon videos. That was the big event that the library put on, full day event with kids and the comic books and role playing. And we have a young intern who's been doing great editing on that.
Did we actually video that, or did somebody else?
We had a team there. And we were working with the Kenilworth kids that came here for a tour at one point. And then the Aquas nonprofit mixer, that I wasn't able to go to that. I had another event. Or was that the night of the hack? At any rate, I didn't go. I was wondering if anybody else did go. Okay. Well, Kathy sent it.
Cindy.
No, Rachel sent us a reminder saying,
Rachel
are
did.
we going to this?
Oh, I thought Cindy
Is
sent
that
it.
at the library?
It was at the library.
Yeah, I was gonna go.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing we should support, and we have been a co-host to those. This one had plenty of co-hosts, they didn't need us to chip in, but it's a good mixer for nonprofit community in Petaluma to meet and generate synergy in the nonprofit community. City Hall upgrade, we're moving forward with that. We did put in the 4 new cameras. They need to be repositioned in a more aesthetic mounting system. The board has already authorized $63,000 for the City Hall upgrade. We spent $14,000 on the cameras, which leaves us with $49,000 left for the servers and the actual mixing board and the internals. And Stephanie's been working with Telview, the company we'd like to go with. We've got estimates now of actually $34,000 to finish it off. And we have 2 options. One option would give us the streaming capacity immediately so that we could have a 4th channel on our website to stream selected. We will have a server that can store our files of our programs, and it has 4 outs. We need 3 of those for our 3 channels. The 4th one could go directly to the internet, but that would cost another $10,000. And that's why I asked for 2 estimates, one with and one without. So we're looking at either $34,000 or $44,000, both under the budget. But my recommendation is that we don't go immediately to the streaming online.
Can it be added later?
Yes, it can.
How much will that cost though to add it
The
later?
10,000, it'll be the 10,000.
So it'd be the
It-
same.
So it's basically just a license change.
Yeah, and the reasoning is, we're so close to getting the radio up, that should come before streaming on the web. And I don't know the full cost, so that extra $10,000 could be useful in a pinch with the radio.
So when we show City Hall meetings on the web, do they come in a higher def than they do if they're on our TV channel?
We're not high def on TV.
Right, but these new cameras we're getting, I assume, are high def cameras, and we're
Yes.
recording in high def. Do we somehow stream to the internet in high def as
No,
opposed?
we're not streaming to the internet.
Oh, we're not streaming at all.
The Granicus City.
We do.
You do.
And they're really downscaled.
Okay, so they're not
Like
high def.
360.
It's basically downscaled for purposes of speed
Yeah,
and storage space.
right.
You remember that we're just basically storing a meeting or the record of a meeting, not for to see how
Right.
good to see how good your hairstyle looks
Right, right, but,
or John's.
right, but you know, there is a, beyond that, I mean,
Mhm.
for storing them as minutes, that makes a lot of sense, but, you know, to stream them on the internet for public consumption, you probably want the bells and whistles. I mean, politicians, people dress, perform the way they perform, and you probably wanna see that in all its glory, or lack thereof.
You know, they're not supposed to perform in city meetings.
And you can watch.
Well, I'm sorry if I misspoke.
You can watch the all the city meetings, all of our Channel 28 you can watch online at
Online,
the
yeah.
city website.
City website.
Either live when it's being broadcast, or you can call it up on demand. So 28 is already streaming online.
Or the content that goes on 28 is
Yeah.
streamed from the cities, from our storage.
Do they have a YouTube channel also?
Who
The city?
don't need one,
Don't need-
Granicus.
It's stored. It's an alternate.
Yeah, we do. We have several.
Our YouTube channel is
Cause that streams in 1080,
YouTube does.
or can.
yeah. We put our PCA board meetings on the YouTube, and that's very high quality.
Great.
I better fix my hair.
Nobody watches that.
Maybe I should shave before I come down here.
I don't think they get
Cut
any
my
hits,
nose.
do they? Like one or
That's
two?
good to know.
I have
When-
a
when
friend
you-
that watches them all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when you can't sleep at night, it's great.
That's what he says.
I know somebody said, I saw you on TV there. I'm
That
like,
might-
You saw me on TV there, what do you mean?
You know what I tell people? I says, you gotta get a life. So they quit telling me.
Okay, let me get back to my report here. So we talked about City Hall upgrade, and we're definitely gonna go with the 34,000, and I'll set that into motion. The next problem with that is finding a period when the city is having fewest meetings. That's usually the beginning of the summer. There's a lot of cancellations in the summer of meetings, so we'll schedule that, but we will go forward with ordering the equipment.
How long, what is the downtime?
The downtime, well, it took us almost 2 weeks to get the cameras ready. That should have been a week. The downtime for this, we will have to shut off the channels. And the key one, we can shut down 28, which has the city's meetings in a period where there's no meetings, and then get that back on and then rotate to the others. Downtime could be 2 to 3 weeks. Not downtime, but actual working on getting it all worked out and tested. Rearranging the booth, which is very tight. We wanted to get rid of a ventilating channel, but we couldn't, so then that piping. The radio is moving forward. We're now moving through the MOU process with the JC, and I did have a connection with Maggie, Neil's sister-in-law,
Oh,
who's on
you
the
did?
board at the JC, and she was at the fundraiser. She took me aside and said that their board is thrilled with the idea of
Oh,
having
good.
radio. So
I have not lobbied my sister-in-law, by the
No.
way, everyone.
she took me, she was very happy to communicate that.
Oh, good.
There are, right now the JC has a committee that prepares the proposition for the board, and they're going through it now, and that's more technical. How far, how many people are near the antenna, where's the antenna gonna be? We've got a location for the antenna, we need to get an architectural drawing of it, all those process, and Rob's been really great. He's been working with the city, planning commission as to, limited use, is
Planning division.
planning division, that's
Limited use,
yeah, limited use.
special use permit, is that?
Is that what he's doing? I was just gonna ask you that.
Yeah, that's part of it. Let me see that email here.
Conditional use permit?
Conditional.
CUP?
Conditional use.
So interestingly, some friends of mine live in Sebastopol, and the property next to them is going to be, they're trying to put up a 70-foot antenna for their nonprofit radio station, and the neighborhood is up in arms against it. It's a piece of property the city of Sebastopol owns, but it's in the county. The land is in the county, the city owns it, and I forget under whose planning it's put up,
Yeah.
but it's got them crazed in Sebastopol. I assume we don't have any such issues on a college campus, or,
Well, from what I understand is that the school systems tend to not be subject to some of the city regulations, although it is in the city limits. But starting.
Well, those are the questions we're trying to get answered, and Rob just had a conversation with his friend Phil Boyle. Does that ring a bell?
Really?
Yeah. Rob
Where?
is a good friend with Phil, who's now at,
He was in San Anselmo last I
I
heard.
think he's in Alameda now. Yeah, and they've been talking, and Phil contacted Tiffany at the Petaluma Planning Department, and the information is, if Santa Rosa JC constructs something that it owns 100%, then the permitting process would go through Sacramento. If it is a joint venture, as this is, because we own the equipment and pay for the construction, permitting goes through the city. And and it's a conditional use permit.
Mhm.
And it could go up to 11,000, which is more than the equipment would cost, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We will need a structural engineer, and Craig Spaltz was suggested,
Mhm.
so that's a good one.
Cause there's a couple ex-city employees.
We don't need an architect to draw the plans.
Not subject to CEQA because it's small project.
What we're talking about is they've got a building in the back of the campus. We would dig a hole, lay a cement base, run an antenna up right next to the building, which could be joined to the building, and it
Right.
would probably just go right over the top. So that's what we have to get a sketch so that the JC people can see what they're talking about. And as for getting neighborhood response, the planning department would, has a process for that, but we might do it ourselves. It's suggested here that perhaps we would have a postcard sent out to the people in the
Is that
vicinity.
required for conditional use?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but,
Why do you,
I don't work in planning, yeah.
well, this is what Neil was just saying, that the community can be disturbed by having an antenna pop up
but-
in their neighborhood.
what I'm asking is why do you have to have a conditional use? Have they told you why?
Don't look at me.
No,
I'm the one that said, go talk to planning.
I can't, well, I don't know that much about it, but I just don't understand why they have to.
well, and I'll take the question, and we haven't done it, we're still exploring the possibility that we need to do it, and at this point, we think we do, but we'd sure like to avoid it if we can, so we'll explore that,
Yeah.
let's explore that. The next step would be a field meeting with, Gary from the JC, who's preparing the proposition for the board, and an artist, and Rob and I would go out there with Zach and look at what we're talking about, and put all the pieces together to take to, the San Jose JC board of.
What is the time frame we're talking about for this?
Our 18 months of license to build expires in June, and we can request another 18 months, but I'm targeting June to have something on the air.
So we will be doing something with some of this at least. in
Well,
the
we're
next
we're
Okay.
doing this, as we speak.
Okay.
It's moving, but it's slow at the JC and connecting all these pieces. We've got a consultant in Portland that Zach was working with. We have to reconnect with him and get some information. Zach is very busy. That's why it's very good to have Rob. He's holding all the pieces and moving it forward.
Does the JC have a media program that does the type of stuff we do?
They have a media program, and they would be very interested in having a radio curriculum. But they can't offer it as a curriculum credited course without having a studio. So,
It just hit me that, because of what we do here, and we've got professionals who work here, and we pay money to be here, I wonder if there was any way we could set up our shop, when our lease expires at the JC, and in effect run so that everything we have here could be used by the JC and their media program. Maybe the people here could help in teaching media classes, and in sort of a barter system, and reduce our costs.
that's an option, but at this point, it's too much to put on the JC's table. They don't
Right.
have that, and we've designed the MOU in 2 phases. First is
They
to
don't have the space, meaning they don't have a room we can.
they haven't moved
Right.
to offer that as a curriculum, hire an instructor, put it into the program.
Right.
They are interested in it, so we designed the MOU with 2 phases. The first phase is to install our antenna on their property and get it up so that we can run it from our studio. The next phase would be they develop a studio on campus. The idea of partnership is open all the way through. They would have access to broadcast stuff on the antenna prior to phase 2. If they wanted to, we would advertise, the partnership is there. And right now it's getting the hardware installed and finding out who the players are, and then working with them in the future to make it work. They could certainly have students come over here and use it, and we'd facilitate all sorts of partnership benefits. I just had 2 more little items that weren't on my list, but the Butter and Eggs fundraiser is at Lagunitas on March 29th at 5:30. I think that's a Tuesday. Today's the fifth, is it? Yeah. And then, one oddball thing, we might not wanna talk about it too much, cause we've kind of vetoed it, but the landlord has been having trouble renting the back area. And they came to us with an option saying, they could easily rent the other side, cause it's got a door on the sidewalk and it's smaller, they could rent that. So they were wondering if we wanted to trade that for that back. The back is much bigger, I don't think we could afford much more right now, especially with all this moving around. But, we've been exploring the option. I know that you and Cindy looked back at there and,
When they say trade straight across or trade?
if it was a straight across trade, it would be very interesting. You know, if the price went up a lot, then I don't think we could do it for the same reasons
Right.
we already
Right.
canceled it. But they are in a bind where they're just not renting it. It's too awkward as of a space, they have to go down that alleyway. You know, if people came in here, walked into a radio station, and then we got the studio back there, and we've got our main, or running the operation here, and then you go in the back, it's a big space, we could store equipment
It's a
there.
nice space.
We could have, I almost see it as kind of a real media center where other nonprofits in Petaluma could rent space from us and have an
Mhm.
office back there, so it's kind of a hub, kind of an art center for technological, you know, maybe work and those kind
I'd
of.
be very interested to see what their thought is
Did that, what
on
kind of a
exchanging.
trade did they say, or
Right.
do you not
It
wanna
was
say
very
too-
vague. They just said, we could rent that a lot more if we wanted to close this off and put you back there, we'd be interested to talk about it.
Hmm.
So I'm getting enough interest to talk more about
Yeah.
it, so I will pursue that. But certainly it has a budgetary
Right,
bottom line. Thank you, that's it.
okay, thank you, John. Great, I see nothing on the consent calendar. And number 9, reports of committees. I don't believe any of these committees have met,
I don't think so.
okay? And we can go to 10, old business, A, discussion only of the signature fundraising event. Seeing that these were both, Cindy, do we need to?
Well, Neil had a question about the event, and we can discuss it. It's only discussion, we're not making decisions. So I think we could,
Well, I just wanna see what the bottom line is of the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah, I made a
did
extra
we
copy.
make money, did we lose money,
we made about $300. Here's the,
we actually made
There's
all
the-
told.
there's the,
We didn't lose money,
We didn't lose money,
Yeah, we
that's
were-
the good news.
we did
considering that, right?
Yeah,
and.
But
well,
all
they
the
were-
figures aren't completely finished
that's
yet.
true.
Yeah, we're still negotiating how much we pay the Mystic, and we learned a lot. You can't, we knew going in that it was a heavy learning curve, and we didn't know what we were doing. And we were meeting weekly for a long time, a lot of investment. I thought building the baskets, getting the donations was a stellar job. We got A+ on that.
No, really, Rachel gets A+ on it.
Yeah. You
Rachel's the
did
one.
great, and Neil did a lot.
Hey, I broke my back lugging
Yeah,
those candies
chocolates.
around.
And Obi-Wan, everybody.
That OB1 was a fabulous.
It
experience.
was.
For the
yeah.
man that won it was
was thrilled.
thrilled.
Oh, was he
He
thrilled?
was thrilled.
Oh, great. You know, honestly, we should have done a silent auction if we could have.
Yes.
And because that would have brought us, probably would have made a couple of grand on a silent
Mhm.
auction, even with the crowd that was there. But as it was, I mean, I think it was fine for the first year. It would have been better as a raffle had somebody figured it out earlier, but, you know, we made some money on it. You know, the other one that I've been concerned on personally is the drink tickets and the fact that, you know, you were gonna take the tickets out of the VIPs, I wanted to put them back in, somehow I won the argument, you know, and it was just tough, because, in a way, a lot of my family was there, and so they got the benefit of a cheaper ticket, and I'm feeling kind of responsible, like I should plunk in some additional, and I intend to do that when my house sells.
You started to say something?
Well, I just wanted to ask a question. Did we film it? Did we video it? Is it gonna be on the website?
No, Jim took a lot of photographs and we were putting a video of the photograph, we're doing a slideshow of the
Okay.
photographs. Yeah, we had cameras there, but we didn't have
Nobody had the
anybody who
time.
had the time to
Yeah.
pick them up and.
What was
do it.
really
And
nice-
that's the kind of work that.
That's a shame.
Plus, it's a little trickier
It's a shame.
filming what you would have filmed,
Yeah.
the type of activity.
We were out of the box
Yeah.
and we were moving tables to deal with people who were coming out and wanted to sit up front, and I was running Tom at the stage, and we lost the raffle. We had a bucket for the silver thing there for donations. We made $250 in the donations. If we had about 80 people, and if each one of them had bought a $10 package of raffle tickets, that would have been 800. If they bought the 25 tickets for $20, that would have been 1,600. It still would have not come close to the $4,000 worth of material that we were giving away.
Well, and a lot of the people wouldn't have bought tickets because they'd already put out the $75, and
Yeah.
it's,
So
who
we,
knows?
we lost that, but there are variations. Yes,
And I
everybody
think
agreed last night.
I think
that
we
the
would have
si-
done well with a silent auction.
Yeah,
I think
silent
even with
auction is-
people paying $75,
They would have
I
gone
think
for
they
the
would have
silent.
gone for the silent
Yeah, I think
auction.
would have made a couple thousand at least.
And Tom was having trouble with 14 baskets to give away. Actually, it worked out pretty well with the commercial breaks.
Came down to,
It came right down to the wire, and it kind of culminated.
Yeah.
And the last one was a joy to give away. The 2 nights at the hotel with the opening night at the.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was the last one. And,
Yeah.
and the people were thrilled, and the way it worked
Well, it made
is
it real fun.
everybody was a winner. It was like opening the envelope,
Yeah,
and the
'cause-
people in the audience got
Yeah.
that thrill.
Yeah.
So that paid off, and we got great press. The Press Democrat came, did an interview with Cindy and I, and they had it on the web that night.
I got my picture in the paper in a tuxedo.
That's worth a lot. The drink thing was different because we had worked out a plan where we had $3 tickets, which was reasonable. We were very logical, and it wasn't a lot of money. $3 tickets in 3 different levels.
Based on a $5 drink.
Yeah, and then we found out that week that the Mystic Theater had changed their drink prices, and our ticket idea went out the window, and we made a quick decision to go to $5 tickets and try to keep the thing alive. And that's what you vetoed. Okay, that
I
got
didn't
vetoed.
veto it, I strongly argued for it and somehow won the argument.
Well, I wasn't. For me, it wasn't an argument. It was
Yeah.
a decision to make at that spot, and
Yeah.
I was worried more about the stage performance of
Yeah.
Tom. So I just said, and I was sympathetic to your position because you brought a lot of your family members there, and if they got 10, but what happened was we just turned all the bar over to the Mystic. Their
Yeah.
prices were high, so we had the same problem. People were complaining about the cost of drinks.
Right, but
How about 2 beers and
they'd have complained a lot more had we charged them $10 a drink. That was my concern.
yeah, but we had no intake on the bar, so we lost money there. But that's another way we either need to be more in control of the bar, or we need to think that one through. So that's for the next time. Did I give you you can take that if you want. Just an extra copy.
well, I think, talking about the fundraiser, that we're in a serious position right now. We just lost 2 board members. We have 4 board members left. Plus, if we hadn't had staff to support us through this, we'd have never made it. We'd have never made it. And with a couple of other people that stepped in as volunteers. So I think that we need to seriously consider as a board, those of us that are left on the board, as to what do we want to do? What do we want to support? To do it again or not to do it again?
Yeah.
Well,
I
if
think it would be a shame to not be able to do it again because I think we established something. But I also think that we have to be all in agreement and be able to participate, or it just isn't gonna work.
Well, if you do it again, maybe consider, rather than all or nothing, consider planning it but not trying to execute it yourselves. Consider hiring somebody to execute it. If you can get a fairly good price on it, you might be able to make some money with it that way. I mean, I think if you went to the right planner and said, we'd like to make this amount of money on this, and here's the plan, this is what we've decided to do, and they could tell you, that won't work, that will work, we can do that, so, I mean,
Might be able to do some things faster, smoother, more efficiently, but
Right.
follow a similar format. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, you know, the ones that really seem to make a lot of money are the ones that are, where they control everything. They control the bar, they control the food, they make the food there, they either do it themselves or they hire, some caterer to come in and do it, and the venue doesn't cost a lot, like Mentor Me and things like that. They make a lot of money at those things, but they've been doing it for years, so they really have their routine down. They have lots of volunteers to sell the silent auction stuff. They have a lot of big live auction things, and it isn't interrupted by the Oscars that are on. So so they make good, $50,000 or $100,000 each time.
Well,
That
that may
would
be
be
something that we have to consider too.
Yeah, it
Should
would
we
be-
change venues?
Yeah, it would be tough
think
for
we-
us to do that. Yeah.
I think we're pretty close to that this year.
Yeah.
So if the venue were the hotel, that becomes a partnership, would they be interested in helping us organize?
Right.
The Sheraton?
Right?
The Sheraton?
No, the new Petaluma.
Oh, okay.
They've got a new ballroom, and they were very generous in their donation to us, and
So I think we have some, as a board, Mark and Tim, seeing that Cindy's not here, I think we have some serious thinking to do.
I agree.
On what we wanna do
Yeah,
next year.
I agree with that.
Not serious thinking, oh, God.
Please, serious.
No frivolous thinking,
No,
go ahead, do.
No, you're right, and I think there's another thing that's also on the agenda. Our Oscar night event, if it's annual, comes pretty much at the same time we start working on the butter and egg steak. Do we wanna do both?
Yeah.
That's connected. And in the fundraising scheme for the radio, we don't need a lot of money. $8,000 a year should be able to run the station, if we can continue to run it within the existing PCA structure, staff time, like we use staff time for the fundraiser. That's not calculated in anything. That should be an all year long fundraising option on the website for PayPal, for money to come in. We should constantly be looking for support. And with the radio, we can also explore underwriting and program sponsorships. It's not as tight as TV. So this event is less of a moneymaker, but a publicity gift back to the community. We celebrate the radio at the Oscars with PCA. We could scale it down so it's not really aimed at raising a lot of money. All that work we did for the baskets maybe was not necessary. Giving away prizes was fun, and that could become annual. But and the publicity, so that people in Petaluma have something that reminds them every year that yes, Petaluma needs to support the radio, so we can give it to you. That messaging. So our next two topics integrate that, because we're talking about a retreat, and that retreat could be where this serious thinking comes to a head, and that's
Well, shall we,
yes,
are we finished with A?
I think so.
We beat it to death. Okay, let's go to B. Possible discussion and action on the Butter and Egg Day Parade. I know Cindy has filled out the application and turned it in, so we have to decide what do we wanna do. I'm thinking, my thing is, I'm not gonna be here for Butter and Egg Day. So my thinking is,
What's the date of Butter and Eggs?
it's April 23rd. I'm thinking, I know at one time we had a limo. Did we not?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
The limo was kind of counterproductive. Didn't read as television. It didn't work. It didn't work.
But I thought it might go with the theme of the envelope, please. That it might,
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I was kind of seeing it as being part of,
Okay. The person who organized that, Marcel, I'm having breakfast with her on Friday. So I'll mention, I'll find out how
Okay.
it worked. I know that when Cindy made the application, she had to give the size of our float, she took her pickup truck.
Oh.
So we have a white pickup truck that
That's
could-
okay too.
could run it. And yes.
I mean, it doesn't have to be the limo, I was just thinking, it
No.
kind of had the Oscar theme.
And
and
we
the-
could, that's a good idea, to take the Oscar theme and run it. Their theme is the chain,
What was
choo-choo,
the date?
The choo-choo
the
train,
choo-choo train, the train is coming to Petaluma, all
What
aboard.
did she say, April 20?
That's the theme of the parade.
third.
April
Oh,
23rd.
23rd.
I mean, and even by using Cindy's truck, it could be, you know, a couple bales of hay in the back, and it could be fairly simple
Yeah.
and not big and involved. And yet we still make our presence. We could have our champagne glasses, or you could, whoever rides on the float.
Get
have
your
the
tux,
champagne glass.
keep your tux neat.
On a bale of hay.
On a bale of hay.
Petaluma.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Well, we'll leave that sort of open at this point.
I think we have to postpone that, yeah, but
Yeah,
I'll
right.
explore the
Okay.
history and, it's true, will you be able to participate?
Sure, if I'm here, I'm in.
Okay. And, then we'll postpone the further discussion of that.
Okay.
Actually, we could probably fold it into the board retreat.
Okay, discussion and possible action on the board retreat. We were gonna have it at Neil's house, but
What is the date for that?
It was the 26th of
26th.
this month, that's the last Saturday of the month, right before Easter Sunday.
My only concern now is because we have a house on the market, and I don't know whether we're gonna take it off the market, given as we've done some, we need to do some repairs on it, so, if it's not off the if it's off the market, which I think it will
Well-
be, if it's on, it's kind of, it's tough because we
Mhm.
have agents coming in and out, and
But we could add the value to it.
it's true, you could.
But I'm also thinking that we might revise our, you know, it's been great, the last 3 years almost, we've been
Yeah.
meeting there, it's been regular, but you're leaving, we've gotta wean ourselves off your, your spacious,
Hey, if I still
generosity.
have it, you could always use it.
I'm thinking that maybe we just get a back room at a nice restaurant and we just have a sit down.
Have a dinner.
Or we could even do it here, couldn't we?
We could, but there's something
Official.
official and refreshing to be in a new environment.
Okay.
And because we do have some serious thinking to do about how we organize the annual rhythm of our board activities, it might be good to just have a very relaxed catered or restaurant served meal at a big table where we could just hash it out,
Talk about it.
less stress on,
can we leave that in your discretion?
well, I
And
think
work
the board,
with Neil
I
to
think,
see what,
okay, so, but we are confirmed on the date
yes,
and
March
Do
26th.
you want us there,
Yeah,
or
that
should
would
we
be fine.
beg off at
No
this
idea.
one?
Right, Neil.
I'd love to have you both there if you can, if you're still in town.
I'd like to, I'm not leaving until, April, but sure, I'd
Okay.
like to.
So yes, if you can both come to this, we'd love to have you, and PCA would foot the bill for board development.
It's the 26th,
The
right?
26th, we could call it a lunch, meet at 11 and finish at 4. We sit around a table and we discuss how we're gonna take the Butter and Eggs, Oscar night project forward and get new board members. And we could invite new board members.
Mhm.
This is a
Yeah,
recruitment,
yeah, at least for part of it,
yeah.
Mhm.
maybe after lunch or something.
After lunch, so that we could
Do
have
the serious stuff
some
before
discussion.
lunch.
I almost think that inviting them for lunches,
Well, yeah.
they might come.
Yeah,
Oh, for lunch?
Yeah, come to, we'll treat you to lunch, come and talk to us about the.
so we
other
should
board.
start at 10, invite them for lunch.
And then ask them to
Yeah.
leave?
No,
No,
we
we'll be-
have a couple of hours before they get there.
Oh,
We
okay.
start at 10, we have
Oh, I
coffee
see.
and
Then
donuts.
we can all leave together and they don't feel kicked
Oh,
out.
right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't wanna invite them to lunch and then tell them.
If we met at 10, we could invite them at 12, and we'd all be done at 3, or we could invite them at 1. So we could have a break before they get there, after lunch at
I have a
1.
potential board member, I will work
Pardon?
on her. I have a potential board member, I will work on her.
That's good, and I
Good.
got 1, 2, 1 also.
I have a couple, but, you want me to just go ahead and,
I'd love it if you did, and then you can send them to me. I've got the board packet, and I love chatting up the mission, so that's not hard. And yeah, let's invite,
Okay.
we'll meet at 10 for a preliminary meeting, strategy meeting, which we could finish at 12, and then we'll take a break, and at 12:30 we'll have guests come, and at 1 o'clock we have lunch, and that could go for 3 hours, which is a lot of wine.
I like Neil's wine. But, yeah,
Who won?
Western European stuff.
Who won Cindy's wine? It was your sister.
Oh, yeah, Maggie got the
Maggie got
bottle of wine, holy, yeah, no matter, no wonder she loved the thing, and her son got one of the baskets too.
Yes, and Matt McGuire and his wife each won one.
Each one.
Okay, so if the board approves that plan, I will go ahead and find a restaurant. I'm thinking Graziano's. No, it's not here anymore, is it?
You have going back the clock, buddy.
Yeah,
You know, could we reserve the
Same
back room
building.
at Volpe's?
we could. Balfi's is very popular. Maybe it's the other Italian, Cucina Paradiso. They got a nice back room.
Yeah, they got a nice back room.
I
Yeah,
could
but
vote
it's-
for that.
It'd be
Go for that.
somebody
That is a good one.
somebody that's less busy on a Saturday.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty busy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll explore that, and I can use emails to get your
I'll keep you up
consensus.
to date on what's happening with the house, cause it may be available, but.
Well, I think we ought to just give you a break and
Yeah.
just go with this.
Okay, sounds good.
And then
Yeah.
that way you're not pressured either way.
Yeah,
Right.
put all the energy into finding one.
If you have to
somebody
do
take the-
repairs and you can be busy doing that, or if it's go on the market.
And it's also.
You don't have to think about, oh my gosh,
You
this
might
isn't
enjoy it
gonna
more.
work. Yeah,
Okay,
Come into
Yeah.
Cucina Paradiso for a few hours.
sounds like a deal.
Okay.
okay.
Great.
Then number 11 is new business, seeing no items. Number 12 is to adjourn.
Yeah, move
We're
we
not going to
adjourn.
close session, so
Oh,
All set.
someone,
I'll move we
Okay.
adjourn.
okay, at 7,
All right.
okay, turns
Thanks a lot.
off.
The sun's still out.